I mean, if we imagine, for example, we would have virtual supplier days, just to give you one example, wouldn't it be good if you could involve all your cross-functional partners at the same time to get in touch with the supplier to have a broader picture of the supplier? In the past, it was nearly impossible to include and invite all the cross-functional partners. Now, with a new virtual collaboration, which we have to establish, it would also open up processes on a higher quality level, which we haven't seen before.
Just if you can give me a little bit of a mind map of how you're thinking about the future, that would be great, you know?
The very challenging point is at the moment, we don't know what we don't know. That's the challenge at the moment. But what we know is the collaboration with our suppliers, or even more, the collaboration with our teams, is a very essential point. And no matter in which business situation we will be in the next few weeks and months or years, the basis for every kind of collaboration is trust and transparency. And once we want to shape and change our processes, we have to make sure that this trust and transparency element is a very relevant part which we have to have in our mind, in our focus.
I mean, do you think these ways of working and will have any impact on, you know, the structure that you have, your organizational structure? I mean, you mentioned, you know, getting cross-functional colleagues involved in supplier days or virtual supplier days. I mean, is it an opportunity to get much closer to stakeholders and to
Absolutely.
the business? And does that mean, therefore, that there might be a change in structure or operating model, which is underpinned by the virtual, technologies?
I'm quite honest. I do believe going forward, this will have a significant change in our organizational structure, because this strict hierarchy level structure, which many of the companies have at the moment, this will be completely ridiculous in a way. Yeah. And the question is how can we manage that? And I can imagine that going forward, we have these more ecosystem-driven departments also within the company.
Yeah.
It's not so top-down structured. It's more grouped in teams and in departments where it is at the moment needed, and then you change and transform the people, the teams into another setup to manage the challenges which are coming in the next few weeks and months. I mean, it will be more flexible and it will be more virtually. I'm really convinced that we are running into this kind of structures. No, I believe we have at the moment, we have a very well-established collaboration platform. And luckily, we had some challenges 2 to 3 years ago when we had a challenge from the board to reduce our travel costs by minus 25%. And that forced us a little bit to think about more these virtual collaboration. And therefore, I believe we trained already these kind of collaboration. Is it good enough? No, it can't be good enough always. But there's a solid foundation, I would say, which allows us to communicate internally. But the next step is now, how are we communicate, how are we collaborate with the supplier base? So that is the next step, and this is something we have to do very fast. Finding the new balance, maybe it's not the new normal, it's a new balance, is very relevant for all of us. And just to give you a simple example, we internally talked about when will it be that we go back to work? Many people say, hey, let's go back to work. And some others said, hey, wait a minute. I am working like hell at the moment. So it's not a question going back to work. Maybe it's going back to the office, but it's not going back to work. I'm really looking forward to create together with you and the other colleagues from the different other companies to create the new balance or the new normal for our function, because procurement and supply chain will be also in the new future will be the place to be, and it's up to us to shape it. And I'm really confident that we will we will and we can shape it.